All right, we should be live. So let's go ahead. We'll let people file in here, and we'll get started here in just a minute. All right, so we got Brian Pease here. First one here. Welcome. Brian, let me know if the audio's good. I think Candy may not make it tonight, so if you guys, anyone else who's watching, can let me know. I would appreciate it. All right, thanks, Brian. All right, we got 6 people here. Derek's here. Welcome. So, give it a few minutes. Pet Sonics, welcome to the stream. OG's Fish Room's here. Welcome. So, give it a few more minutes here. So, hope all you guys are all well. Weather's starting to break here, so it's getting a little bit nicer to walk out to the fish tank barn than it is normally. So give it another minute or two, and now we'll go ahead and get started kind of with the story. AJ's here. Jeffrey Myers, how's it going? Meanfish9 is here. Welcome. Alright, so we got about 8 watching now. So, summer tubbing. Yes. I'm debating that. Don't know yet. You see a Zis filter. There is a Zis filter in here. So, the Zis filter, there's probably 3 to 4. So, JH Aquatics is here. Welcome. Looking forward to seeing you at Aquashella, as well as anyone else who's going. So we got 7 watching now. We've been going for a couple minutes. So every time we do these, it's kind of funny. I feel like I'm on a call for work, and so I always feel like I have to start right away. So all right, good. We got Cichlids 23, Dylan Martin. So 1 fish, 2 fish. Anthony's Fishy Friends. So welcome everybody. So we got a pretty good crowd now coming in. Yeah, so there's this. I have about 4 Zis filters here. So definitely, yeah, I made a small one. There's a video out on my channel where I just made a small one. So all right. So I think let's go ahead and get started with the story. So this story was actually published back in 2011 on reefs.com. So I'm going to pop the link in to the chat so you guys can read it as I'm telling it. So let me go ahead and pop the link in here. So there's the link to the story. So basically what happened, a buddy of mine, a fish breeder friend of mine, Legacy's here. How's it going? 54 Punchies here. How's it going, Pam? The Reefin' Ricken is here. Brian Pease from New Jersey. We're here in Michigan, so we're here, or I'm in the Metro Detroit area. Just north of Detroit. Give it about half hour or so. This is a very Detroit story, actually, so we'll go ahead and get started. So basically what happened, a buddy of mine went on to Craigslist, and there was a fish store that was down in, we'll call it the not-so-great part of town. So if you've ever seen the movie 8 Mile from Eminem, so basically how Detroit kind of works is basically 8 Mile is the dividing line between the city of Detroit and the suburbs, and so basically if you go south of 8 Mile, the neighborhoods get kind of progressively rougher and rougher as you go, and then downtown now is kind of nice. Back then Not so. It was kind of okay, but not like it is now. But so we went. So my buddy of mine got the Craigslist ad. He's like, "Hey, do you guys want to come with me?" Sure, why not? So at the time, I had a minivan like I do now. So I took him, and a couple of other guys met us down there. And he was looking for 20-gallon high tanks. And I kind of wish Candy was here, because she's the one who's kind of picked up on the fact that I don't like 20-gallon long tanks. I just don't like the footprint. So anyway, we end up in this not so good part of town. There was this old fish store, and if I can figure out how to screen share it, or if you look at the link, there's a picture of the old fish store in the story. And so this guy, so we're gonna meet this guy. We were gonna buy a bunch of fish tanks. So we're supposed to be there. Call it like 2:00. Get down there. Not the like I said, this is not the best neighborhood to be hanging out in. So anyway, it's funny because there was a guy next door who had opened another fish store that was or right next door. Like when this fish store closed down, it was open for it was a hood fish joint for sure. And then this other guy had opened up a store right next door, kind of taking some of the equipment that he wanted. So, needless to say, half hour goes by, no word, nothing shows up. No one shows up, no phone call. We kind of go in the other fish store for a little bit, talk to the people in there for a few minutes, come back out. Hour goes by, still no word. Hour and a half goes by, no dice. Call him, no answer, or he keeps saying he'll be there. I didn't have any of his contact information. The guy who actually wrote the story was the one who had all the information. Lumpy Dog is here. Welcome. And then so as it goes by, it's 2 hours, 2.5 hours or so. My wife's calling me like, "What are you guys doing?" Actually, we're just sitting on a street corner in a place we shouldn't be hanging out in, basically. About 2.5 hours go by, and the picture that's in the thumbnail for this, the law shows up. So Terry Tropical's tank's here. So the law shows up. Kind of, what are you guys doing here? What's going on? So we're like, yeah, we're buying fish tanks from some guy. They're like, you guys are idiots. You should have left. You should get you guys shouldn't be down here. You guys are gonna get robbed. You're gonna get killed, etc., etc. It gives us the whole shooting match. So they're like, we'll sit here for 5 minutes. The guy doesn't show up. You guys need to get out of here. So play it. We play it cool. Everyone, we hang out. The cops hang out in their car. The cops are like, 5-10 minutes. They're like, yeah, we're getting out of here. You guys get out of here. So we get almost back. There's a highway here called the Lodge. So this was at like a road called like Schaefer and kind of like 6 Mile. So Detroit's kind of divided up by mile roads as you go from downtown going north. So we get back almost down the highway. And the guy's like calls us back again, and he's like, "I'm there." So hey, KG Cichlids. So turn around, go back. It was this Russian guy, and the guy who actually went with who I was helping, it was going to get the tanks. He was like, he had no 20 highs, none. So I got about I think it was like 6 20 longs or something, or 8 20 longs for like $180. Maybe it was even 12. I don't remember. So we get all these 20 longs. I load them up in the van. I mean, they're all nasty. They're good, well-built tanks, but they're just kind of nasty. And the fish store was closed down. The guy bought it probably like at an auction or something. Was trying to sell all the stuff. Had these huge metal stands, which I didn't take because I didn't have anywhere to put them. and they didn't fit in the van. So drive back. My buddy's kind of pissed. He spent 3 hours of his time, for nothing basically. I got a bunch of kind of okay tanks that I didn't really like, and so at the end of the day, kind of watch where you're going with Craigslist. So I'm going to pull the story up, and I'm going to kind of read his version of it now. I told you my version, so I apologize for reading. I didn't think I was going to read this to you, but I kind of changed my mind kind of midstream because I think his version, is kind of good. If this gets boring for you guys, let me know. But I'll go ahead and read his version as well. So, the picture here is of the old aquarium store on the front. I wish I could figure out how to screen share on this, on Streamlabs. But you guys, I'll put the link back in here again so you guys can check it out too. So there's the link. So, as most of you know, I'm a fish breeder. Recently, I decided to rearrange my fish room to take better advantage of the space. I made several posts on local forums looking for used 20-gallon tanks. I specifically stated that I wanted 20 tall and not longs. I also stated that they needed to be in my local area. I got a couple of replies from people who were located an hour or two away, so I decided to check Craigslist. I happened upon what to be a great deal. An aquarium store that had been in business for 60 years had closed, and they were selling off all of their tanks and stands. I got in touch with the seller and told him what I was looking for. He said he had what I was looking for, so we set up a time to meet. In the meantime, I told a few friends that are also breeders, moi, and a couple other people, about this, and they wanted to tag along. So I set up for the meeting 4 p.m. on Saturday. Sorry, I thought it was 2. This was 7-8 years ago. I was meeting one of my friends at his house to drive down to the store, and my other friends were meeting us there. As usual, we were running a bit behind, so I called the seller to say we would... as usual, we were running a bit behind, so I called the seller to say he would be a little bit late. He didn't answer, so I left a message. We arrived at the location, and I called the seller to tell him we were there. He said he was running late and would be there at 45 minutes. It was a nice day, so we hung out outside the store. At this point, I should mention that the store is located in a rather questionable neighborhood, 6 Mile and Schaefer in Detroit. And he puts the link to the store, which I don't even know if this website even works anymore. But I'll copy the link if you're curious. So I'll put that in there. So that's the original store that we went to. Alright. Okay, so now this is where it gets interesting. Picture 3 guys standing around on the sidewalk for an hour in a neighborhood they shouldn't be in. I'm paraphrasing here. In front of a closed retail space. Oh, and 2 of us were wearing black MBI t-shirts, which you guys have seen me wear before. I think on here. Okay, I got the times messed up on this. I was going from memory. But after an hour of waiting, a police car pulled up and asked us what was going on. We explained we were meeting someone from Craigslist that was selling aquariums that we wanted to purchase. The cops were pretty cool, but concerned we might be being set up. Apparently, it's quite common for people to post things for sale on Craigslist and then rob or kill them when they show up at the designated time with cash in hand. The police officer said they would wait with us for a few minutes, but if no one showed up, we should leave. We waited another 5 minutes and decided to leave. Within a few minutes, the seller called back and said he had arrived and asked us to return. Since we weren't that far, we went back. Obviously, the rest of it's kind of like was basically seller didn't have the tanks he wanted. He was pissed. So I ended up with 12. They had gravel in them that we had. Yeah, I forgot about this piece of it. To go back. So the tanks actually had all the gravel in it from the store. It's like the store just like when they closed the store, like it was like say a hurricane came and the store just left, and all the items in the store, it was like left as is. Like there was water in the tanks, there was gravel. So I literally had to take gravel out of all the tanks as I was moving them out to my van. Vandowski's Tanks here, welcome. So we were taking all the gravel out of the tanks as we were moving them out to the van. So it was kind of an interesting little dynamic there. I'd forgotten about that part until I read that. That basically, I kept taking we had one tank, take the gravel out of it, put it into a tank, like a 10-gallon that I wasn't buying, And we just kept going through that until we got the 12 into my van. So it kind of goes on for the rest of it. So, you know, basically of is be safe on Craigslist, which we all know at this point. So, not Nola Jane Fishrich is here. Welcome. Looking for Valley Fish is here. Looking for a replacement siphon hose. Any online store suggestions? I honestly would go to Home Depot or the hardware store, Valley Fish. If you're in the United States, I think you are. Go to Home Depot or Menards or Lowe's. Fish Tropic is here. Welcome. Yeah, he said try to cut the hose down into a few smaller ones. Tried some clear hoses from the hardware store, but it kinks on me no good. Okay. Valley Fish, try the old man hardware store. Like we have things here that are like Ace that are okay. But there's some specialty plumbing stores too. If you were local to me, I would tell you one, but I don't think you are. So try that. Try Amazon too. Lumpy Dog asked me. Yeah. So is this why you don't like 20 longs? No. It's part of the story. Because those were the first 20 longs I had, and I had clownfish in them. But I just don't like the footprint. So that's really about it. So what did you guys think of that story? I thought I was kind of thinking of something to come up with. I know I had to follow up the discussion that we had with Gino and AJ, which was a lot of fun. So again, I know AJ's in the chat today, so thank you for coming. We'll definitely have to do that again. I do want to get some more guests on here as well. Hey JZBY, welcome. Fish Tropics, what is smaller than microworms or vinegar eels? I've never messed around with those. Clownfish, I've been kind of breeding a lot of the clownfish stuff, so I've been using rotifers, which I think are smaller than any of those to begin with. But I would say that I would take AJ and JH Aquatics' opinion on those. AJ's like, sounds like a Craigslist ad. Yeah, Lumpy Dog Gino was great. That Jeff guy is a geek. Yep. Yeah, okay. AJ's down again, so we'll do that. Or I'll have to come on yours at some point too. Like after my kids get done with all their sports, which is going to be in about another month, my weekends get a little bit better. Gino is cuter, let's be honest. I'm going to not touch that one. Daisy B. Wise, High Cichlids 23. So, alright. So, that's the story. So, do you guys have any other stories, like Craigslist-wise, where you guys had anything interesting happen? Friday Fish Facts is here. Welcome. It was funny. I went inside for a while, and I never got a chance to watch your interview with Corey, and that happened to be on right before I came in here. So for those of the sorry, I can't talk. For those of you just joining, let me paste the link to the story again in the chat, and so at least the guys that are seeing it here can take a look at it. So I'll give a quick rundown for those of you who've just come in. So basically what happened, a buddy of mine was looking for some 20-gallon longs, or sorry, 20-gallon highs, to use a clownfish breeder like I am. Sickless 23. If you didn't get shot or stabbed, it's a great story. Yeah, I've never been shot or stabbed, and I kind of want to keep it that way. So, at this point, I'm in my 40s, so I'm not really up for that. I wasn't up for that anyway, but I'm really not up for it now. So, yeah, so anyway, so we went down to, I'm in the Metro Detroit area, so we went down, for those of you who are familiar with M&M, the dividing line in Detroit between like the city of Detroit and the suburbs is 8 Mile, kind of why the movie was made the way it was. I actually saw 8 Mile on 8 Mile back in the day. Where we used to live was a little closer to 8 Mile than where I live now. So when 8 Mile came out, I did go see 8 Mile on 8 Mile. So, it's a fun fact for you. So anyway, so we went down past 8 Mile into not so nice area of Detroit to buy some Craigslist fish tanks. The guy didn't show up for a while. There's a store. It was an old fish store that had gone out of business, basically almost abandoned. And then there was a gentleman who had opened a store next door. We kind of hung out there for a while. Guy never showed for a while. The police show up, tell us that we probably should not be hanging around there, that they'll stick around for 5 minutes and we'll leave, which we did that on the way back. The guy actually called and said he was there, so went back. The guy who had set up the whole Craigslist deal was kind of PO'd because didn't have the tanks he wanted. So I was kind of the transportation with the dad van. Fish Out of Water Aquariums, welcome. Thanks for coming. So he didn't get anything he wanted. I ended up with a bunch of 20-gallon longs, which kind of is part of the story of why I don't like 20-gallon longs. Not the complete story, but it is part of it. Larry D's Tanks and More, welcome. So at the end of the day, thank you, Friday Fish Facts. Make sure we hit the like button. Absolutely. So at the end of the day, ended up with some old. They were tough as nails tanks. I mean, you could like throw them around and they wouldn't break. I mean, so they were like good, tough old tanks. But so we had some interaction with law enforcement. The one funny part is the gentleman was Russian. At least had that Russian accent, and he was like inviting us to go see his trout pond and all this other stuff, and I'm like, nah, we're good. I'll buy the tanks. We'll get out of here. Plus, we waited so long and everything. I kind of felt like I needed to buy something, so. What is the best tank you ever owned? Do you still have it? That's a good question. The best tank or my favorite tank? I'll answer them both. My favorite tank was my 180 Reef that I had. That was probably because it was like my first real big fish tank. Unfortunately, that broke. But now that, I'm kind of mad I got rid of it though, because I learned how to make plywood tanks, and I could have used the glass. So I'm kind of not happy with myself for getting rid of that. My favorite tanks right now. I still like my 245 saltwater. It's not done yet. There's not my favorite if it shat. No, I was moving it around. I was being dumb. But it was my favorite. If you go back, there's a live stream I did on adding like fish tanks of the past, and it's in there. And I kind of want to get another 180. I've been kind of toying around. Can I show it? Let's see what kind of skills I have doing this on the fly. So let's do this. Can I go into the scene? Can I add a new scene? Now, am I black? If I'm black, I apologize. I'm going to try to... Nope, doesn't let you do it. I can't show it. I got to learn how to screen share on this, or I would. I don't want to like make you guys wait. How did I move it? I can't really remember. I think I was like rearranging, because this is when the fish room was in the basement. So I think I was just moving it around and something happened and it got cracked or something, and I got rid of it. Like, it was, I think that's what happened with it. But I like my 245 saltwater tank now. I do need to do some more work with it. I'm going to end up probably re-aquascaping it at some point. I'm kind of looking to get a couple big angelfish in it. So basically I have suction cups that I move fish tanks around with. Fish Tropic, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, that tank's been gone now. The 180's been gone for 2-3 years now, at least. The 245 I have out here in the barn. I got a couple guys to help me. Actually, one of them was with us. I think one of them met us actually at the that old fish store in the story. So we have a conference here every year. It's called the Marine Breeders Initiative Conference. This year it's going to be July, I think it's 25th and 26th. So yeah, they're having the 180 wasn't as bad as the 245. The 245 is a beast. I really don't want to ever move it again, though I am kind of toying with the idea of rearranging the fish barn a little bit. So after I get that done, I might have to move it depending on what I want to do. Kind of funny thing happened today. I got the local fish club sends out a newsletter, and apparently now if you are in the state of Michigan, and I thought about maybe even doing this as part of next week's live stream as well. If you're in the state of Michigan, you now have to, if you want to sell aquatic animals, whether you're a business or individual, you need to register with the state of Michigan. So I didn't do it yet, but you have to basically go, there's a website, register, put some basic information in. It looked pretty straightforward, and then they give you like a number. So I was kind of curious if there's going to be like an inspection or anything with it. Didn't look like it. I kind of hope not, but we'll see. All right, Friday Fish Facts off to a coaching clinic. Have fun. I'll try to chime in tomorrow. So if you guys don't watch Friday Fish Facts, definitely go check him out. I believe he is Wednesdays, 10 o'clock Eastern, which in the Pacific time zone. I think where he's at is 10 Eastern, so that would be 7 Pacific time if you're out in that neck of the woods, I believe. So, so definitely check his channel out. So yeah, I am kind of planning to do some moves in the fish tank barn. I want to open up the downstairs a little bit. Yeah, he's I think he's kind of near like Flynn and Corey, all on that west side of Canada, west side of the United States area. Hey. Yeah, so we're pretty close to Canada here too. We've got Windsor, which is just actually south of Detroit. We've got Sarnia if you go a little bit north through Port Huron. So definitely got a little bit of Canadian stuff, I guess we'll call it here. So all right, hey. Oh, come on now. He fished in Sarnia. Did you fish Fish Tropic, did you fish Lake Huron or did you fish the St. Clair River? I'm going to guess if it's salmon that you probably went to Lake Huron. So, actually, kind of funny, since it's warmed up a little bit, we have kind of this is what I'll coin it. It's kind of like the last ice for all the ice fishermen. I do a little ice fishing. Haven't been out this year. The weather and my schedule didn't kind of line up. But every time about this time of year, people, the diehard ice fishermen either go, the diehard ice fishermen either go and participate in the Hold My Beer Winter Olympics, where they drive their trucks on the ice and they fall in, or they go ice trolling, where the ice floes will break off of the main ice in the lake, and they'll go for a little trip. So, kind of you'll see on the news. It happened this weekend too. Down in Ohio, apparently about 100 guys or so had to get rescued out of Lake Erie. They had to get the jet boats and helicopters and all that stuff to get them out. No, these guys aren't ice road truckers. These guys are just not smart. There's already been a couple people go in this year already, earlier on in the year. There's a video floating around down on Facebook from around here where basically the guy's truck went in. He's out of the water. He goes back in the truck sinking down into the water, and he goes back in his truck and almost gets sunk into his truck again. He was like, so he's like the truck sinking. He goes in through like the backlight, the sliding backlight in the back. He's bombed out. He goes into the truck, and like he almost goes down with the truck. Like one of the other ice fishermen have to like pull him out. And they showed a video of them pulling the truck out like a few days later, and it was like the nastiest. Like, they had to like cut a huge hole in the ice. They had cranes and everything. And the guy's truck was pretty. Not that my van is the cleanest vehicle on earth, but all kinds of trash came out of the windows and stuff of the truck. I mean, it was kind of not good. So I do want to give you guys a really quick update as well on the clownfish. So I did get a tomato hatch about a week ago. And they're doing pretty good. So I've got a good number this time. So I've got a good probably 10, 15 still going strong in there. So I did order some new fish food. So I had some old fish food I got from the fish store. Or not from the fish store, but from a, what do you want to call it? From one of the conferences I work at. So got the free stuff. But it was kind of old, and I think that may have been a problem. So I bought the new stuff, got it today. So had a pretty good feeding response from it, from the dried pellets. It's the Otohime series, or it's TDO now. That's with Chroma Boost from Reed Bear Culture. So definitely good stuff. So I'm kind of hoping to get a good run out of these clownfish for sure. So, very good stuff. Pam, not good. Storm rolling in tonight, 50-mile-an-hour winds and a foot of snow. That's not good. Though I think where you're at, that's more common than it is here. Foot of snow kind of shuts everything down here. I mean, 6 inches, people kind of go to work still and stuff. But when you start hitting with a foot, that kind of puts a damper on things. Fish Tropic, you feed them live brine shrimp? No. Feed them rotifers. I'll go show you some. I'll be right back. So if you guys can see, it might be hard for you guys to see in the camera, but if you guys see all the little tiny specks in the jar, not the big floaties, but the little specks, those are the rotifers. So that's the first food for clownfish. And then to feed the rotifers, this stuff is called RG Complete. So you feed them, this is a microalgae. So basically, it looks like, it kind of does look like pickle juice actually, because what you do, and I'll show, no, it's not moonshine. You don't want to drink this. If you want Jeffro to really step up his game on eating fish food, have him drink some of this. You know, have him do like a shot of RG Complete. That would really, he would definitely get, I don't know how I want. This stuff has a very unique smell to it. He would level up if he did the RG Complete, and I'm not going to drink it. So basically, what you want to do. So this is your rotifer culture. So this stuff, you put a little bit of it in. So you're just going to pour a little bit. I usually use the container, but so that's the food for the rotifers, and then you put it under an air stone. And then basically the rotifers will feed off the microalgae, and then the clownfish will feed off of the rotifers. And you kind of have to create the entire ecosystem to breed the fish, is the bottom line. So I'm going to put this back, and then be right back. Yeah, this is not, that is not moonshine. That's not something I would drink ever. It's a little, I don't know if any of you guys are into like diet stuff. There was a guy I worked with, and I went by his desk one day. He used to sit next to me, and he was drinking fish eggs, which was completely strange. It was like, can I feed? No. Nope, spirulina. Nope, you can't. When they get bigger, you could feed them crushed up spirulina. But you really can't. I'll show you what some of the Otohime food is. I've got some of the old stuff here. Just give me 1 second here, guys. So Keith Bordeley's here. So this is the older stuff, but it's this is kind of what you feed them for like the weaning diet. So it's called top dressed Otohime. It has the astaxanthin in it, but I'll show you kind of what it looks like. Maybe if I can open it. Maybe I won't show it to you because I can't open it. And I have my scissors. Cool. Oh, here. Let's look at the back. See, it's like an extremely fine powder. So, I've been thinking about asking Corey, seeing if they make a the feeder like for his fry food that would fit something this small. So you can't feed him. Nope, you cannot feed him cabbage. You can feed stuff. The adult fish you can feed cabbage maybe. You could feed tangs and stuff would probably eat it in fresh water or in salt water. But that's the so those guys are going along. So we've got a week behind us. So hopefully a couple weeks we can get them to metamorphosis before I go to Aquashella. So I do have the shirt on today for Aquashella. So I will be there. I do have a Fish Barn t-shirt that I am wearing, that I'll be wearing there. I don't plan on selling it at the moment. It's just something I made for fun. but we'll see if people like it. This shirt would probably glow in a black light. I think it did. I think I wore. Did I wear it when I was there? No. He's a Shella. Find E-Money, MTA, and Joey. I don't know E-Money or MTA, but I have met Joey. Aquashella or Buck. Yeah, fair enough. GH. So, I have. I'm ready. No, I'm not. I'm not ready either yet. I've got to figure out. All the stuff's bought. Thankfully, I had airline miles from some work trips that I could use for the plane ticket. But still, even though it's a couple weeks away, still seems not here yet. I think the thing for me is I have to make sure I get all the videos done, and then from there, make sure I figure out how to pack all my camera gear on the plane. So, like when I went to the Macnas and stuff before, I didn't bring all my I wasn't into YouTube then. So yeah, JH, I will be there Friday. I think my flight lands at about 2 o'clock or so. So by the time I get the find my way to the hotel and whatever, I'm guessing it's gonna be 3:30. So yes, Aquashella should be fun. So if you guys are in Texas, yep, I'm helping to set up the booth too. That's what I signed up for. So I definitely will see you there. What happens in Shella stays in Shella. Yeah. I think kind of what happens at all these shows stays at those shows. Yeah, we have work to do for sure. Yeah, for sure. I think at all these conventions, Macnas, Aquatic Experience. So I did go to the first Aquashella in Chicago, which was a lot of fun. I think this will be different. I think it will be a lot bigger. So the Chicago one last year was their first one, and so it was. I think this one will be different. It'll be interesting to compare the two. So for sure, like I said, if you guys can get to Texas, I would recommend getting there. Hang out in Dallas with some YouTube folks. Lucas will be there. Corey will be there. So yeah, so it'll be fun for sure. I hope it's a little different than the Aquatic Experience. Aquatic Experience was a little, I don't know. Aquatic Experience was a different experience. Was a different event for a lot of reasons. But bring your underwear. Yeah. More than pets, not just fish. More other, yeah. The one thing with the Chicago one last year for Aquashella, it was almost, it was heavily saltwater. Like it was like the main big floor was a lot of the coral vendors. So, and it's funny because the one in Chicago is at the same place this year. It's like it was like an old Polish convention hall, called like the White Eagle. It's like the White Eagle Inn or something. So, yeah, the Aquatic Experience for sure is more of a corporate show. Kind of it reminded me a lot of Magna. I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say something I shouldn't, so I won't. But yeah, it was kind of like a Magna, just not as big. We'll call it. Magna is like double that size in general. But one thing I didn't like about the Aquatic Experience, I didn't get to see it because I left since I drove. But all the animals that were left and kind of the treatment of the animals was kind of disheartening, we'll call it. So, if the Aquatic Experience happens to listen to this, which I don't think they will, step your game up a little bit on that. So that's probably the biggest rant you'll ever get out of me on here is you know, step your game up a little bit. Don't, take care of the animals. I know, at the Macnas, they have plans to get rid of the animals, take them back, take care of them. They even sell them to hobbyists. I've bought some fish at a Macna before from like the booths and everything, taking them home on the plane, acclimated them, and everything was fine. So, yeah, Aquashella will be very different. I think it'll even be different from the first one, because the YouTube booth at the first one was literally like in the back of the convention hall. It was kind of an interesting setup. Like the front of it, and this building had quite a few rooms. So basically, like the first room, you was like the lobby. Then you went in, and there was like the artwork. There was like an artwork thing that you've seen in all the videos for it. And then you go into the back, and there was a couple of different rooms. There was a big convention room where a lot of the grill vendors were, and then the YouTube booth was kind of way in the back. And then there was another room that had all of the saltwater stuff, like Pleco Paradise was in there. And I didn't really know them at the time. It was kind of funny. I have a video. I think it's with George holding up one of the big Plecos. It was my Aquashella video, and I didn't know him at the time, and I ended up meeting him a few months later, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the Dallas one for sure. I'm trying to decipher Fish Tropics' message, and I'm not sure if I can. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't decipher that one. I'm gonna leave that one be. JH, yeah, the YouTube booth will be in the middle. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like I said, so that was their first one. I'm not being critical, so I'm not really saying that to be critical. I'm just saying that's kind of how it ended up, and that's how the layout was at the first one. But yeah, this will be in the center, so it should be a good time for sure. Smurfy Good Times, Animal Lives Matter. They were here before us. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's one of the things that's kind of key for me here in the fish tank barn is the animals come first. So try to do the best you can by the animals. None of us are perfect. We do have losses. I think I am going to show. I am going to show the Muck Guppy tank pretty soon here. I had to do a lot of work to the Muck Guppy tank. I'm not quite done with it yet, but it got extremely overgrown, and so there were quite a few guppy losses in that. Like it got covered with duckweed, and so the Muck Guppy tank is a little bit less populated than it was, but there are a ton of fry in there. So we're gonna I'll show that one when I'm kind of finished with it. I'll show you what it looked like, and then what happens when I was done. Terry's Tropical Tanks got to meet Pleco Paradise on Sunday. They bought 5 zebra plecos. Yeah, I kind of was thinking of driving over to that, but just with Aquashella coming up and everything, kind of had to manage the home front. I can't leave every weekend to go to fish stuff. It just doesn't go well. So, still got 11 folks here. Real quick again, I guess what I'll do, is anyone, I guess, go ahead and go into the chat and let me know. If you guys want to hear the story again, if for those of you who've missed, if we get enough people who want to see it again, I can run through the story. That's the title of this stream, because it is a pretty good story. So I will pop the link in again as well. So that's the link to the story. Where in a very interesting Craigslist deal, to say the least. So see if I missed anyone's questions. Yeah. So just kind of what videos are coming up yet. Thursday's video, just got done with that one. It's going to be kind of interesting. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but it's a little bit different. Um, so I kind of did a little bit of a shopping trip, we'll call it. So we'll go ahead and wait for Thursday. That's going to be interesting. It's a place you normally wouldn't expect to find aquarium stuff, but found some pretty cheap aquarium equipment. Not equipment, but aquarium items you can use. So we'll check that out for sure. Yes, Smurfy Good Times Craigslist is awesome for getting tanks. It is and it's not. I am going to do a live stream once the weather gets a little warmer here about how to find cheap tanks. That's definitely on my list. I actually like garage sales better. So I'll go through and I'll do a Google Hangouts with a screen share, and I'll show you guys kind of like one of the websites I use to kind of hunt down tanks at garage sales. So that's my favorite. Occasionally I'll go into the Salvation Army as well. I only have one tank I ever found there though. There's a 29 that's in here that is over that way. That has the what does it have in there? It's not the Xenotopia Eisenai. It's one of the other Gadiads that I have in there. So Salvation Army is a good one. Garage sales. For other stuff like you picked up 12 drilled 55s. Yeah. See the problem you run into sometimes with Craigslist, at least around here, is people like overprice their stuff now. Like, I'm gonna go buy a fish tank for. I bought a 55 gallon and now I want to sell it for $300. I'm like, no. Actually, the guy who wrote that article last summer, he called me up. He's like, "Hey, my neighbor's selling these fish tanks. Do you want to come over and buy them?" I was like, "Sure, I'm building the fish barn. I'll buy them." So and he was like, I told her they're not worth that much. He kind of prefaced it. I went over there, and she was not getting rid of them. I mean, she was like, "Well, I want $100 for this." Like, what was it? It was like a 40 gallon, I think. I'm like, no, we're gonna. So what I did, I kind of played a little negotiation game with her. So I bought the one that I was like the most reasonably priced. So it was like a 55 gallon, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was either like a 40 long or a 50, or like a 45 long or a 55 gallon, like one of those. That footprint, and that was like a little over $1 a gallon. I'm like, I'll buy that one. But when you're ready to like negotiate, basically, I didn't say this to her, but like when you're like ready to negotiate on the other one, let me know. And I just left. I left her with the other two tanks. So she probably still has them. So when she like comes back to reality, like 4 years from now, I'll go ahead and buy them from her. So, yeah, Derek's local to me. Yeah, people here, people are crazy here about tanks. Yes, some people are, some aren't. One of the places I like to go to, there's a local pet store, not local, but semi-local in Lansing, Michigan, called Pruce Pets. If you go in the summer, the prices are a little lower, I think. I think he lowers them in the summer. Smurfy, they give them away here in Florida. Yeah. You can get lucky, too. I mean, I have one of the 75 gallons I have. I got for free here. So I picked up, it was like the guy 2 doors down from me. It was super funny. Guy, trash day. The guy was going drive by. I'm like, oh, there's fish tanks sitting out front of the trash. So I got a 75. It was a heavy 75 too. It was not the Petco $1 per gallon tempered glass 75. It was the heavy duty struggle to get up the stairs 75. Got that tank, a 20 long, which you guys know is not my favorite, and the 15 gallon and a 15 gallon. So, and I got them for the price of me loading them in my van on my way to work. So keep an eye out on trash day too, I guess, within reason. Derek's 125 for my 90 and everything, but I had to reseal it. Yeah. Yep. Been there, done that. That isn't bad though. You know, I try to go $1 per gallon, but if you get into bigger tanks, you that may not be the case. So I do like 90 gallons. I've been toying around with the idea of doing another reef tank too. I watched the video from Jay Wilson the other day, where he was at the frag swap in Canada, and kind of was like, maybe I should do another reef tank. So if I did that, I would probably do it in my 120 plywood tank that I already got fish in and everything. It's already cycled. So I would just have to, button it up a little bit, like salinity-wise. Those tanks right now, that's hooked up to my butterfly fish tank with a common sump. And that tank right now, they're running a little bit lower salinity, so I would have to slowly kick the salinity back up in those tanks to get it going. So, alright, so we've been going now for 57 minutes and 10 seconds, at least according to Streamlabs. So, we can go till another 5 minutes or so. So if you guys have any last minute questions, go ahead and get them in. Just so you guys know, I do live stream Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. And then there's a video that will come out Thursday morning, and another one will come out Sunday morning. There are very few people who are up when it comes out. It comes out at 6:30 in the morning. There are a couple though. There are a couple people who comment before I get up. So one thing I am kind of happy about here is the fish tank barn. I'm not going to proclaim victory yet, but looks like we are going to make it through our first winter. Electric bill a little lighter in the wallet, but all in all, I'd say it was pretty successful for the first winter here. So definitely some work to do this summer. Yeah, you're at work by then. Yeah, some people work early. I kind of roll into work about 8:30. Today was like 8:50. It was a little bit closer, a little bit later than I wanted. Derek, are you going to go to the meeting on Thursday? The club meeting. So I am a member of the Motor City Aquarium Society, as well as the Marine Life Association, the Marine Life Aquarium Society of Michigan, which is the saltwater club. It's more focused now on the MBI and the marine breeding aspect. So just so you guys know, the Marine Breeding Initiative Conference is July 25th and 26th at the Cranbrook Institute of Science in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. So if you're in the area, stop by for sure. You learn quite a bit. So you learn stuff like the rotifers I showed you earlier. So we are working on getting that website up eventually, and I do want to take you guys through that and show you some pretty cool stuff with it. So basically what it is in a nutshell is a online breeders award program. So it's for saltwater. Saltwater world's a little bit different. I did so you guys, I did enjoy all the talk about the local fish store last week, which I was thinking about doing maybe like a reaction on this stream. Yes, Derek, I would love to. Let me know what time. I can probably swing there beforehand. I just got to clear it with all the other powers that be that are hanging out in the house. I'm actually off that day too, which helps. Or I'm not off, excuse me. I'm working from home, so that makes it a little bit easier. Um, yeah, I may even bring my camera with me. Do a little tour. The fish barn right now is not really tourable. One of the issues that I have, and I don't know how exactly I'm going to solve it yet. Um, the way I have like a really strange property where everything slopes downhill, like it's extremely uneven, and so everything to the fish in the fish barn basically at the bottom of the hill. So I'm getting a little bit of water in here, like through the from all the melting snow. So I got to think about what I want to do about that. There's still like a glacial ice flow, basically that's in front of the door. So kind of take your life in your hands coming in here. But the inside of it's fine. It's just that all the melting snow rolls downhill, and I'm at the bottom here. So unfortunately, you're kind of stuck. A dirt berm, yeah. I thought of that. And, I don't really want to I don't really want to like regrade my yard. It's a significant amount of slope. Like it's a good, call it 45-degree angle-ish. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you gotta talk first. Yeah, you gotta clear the boss. Understood. Yeah, I think that meeting tomorrow or on Thursday will be interesting, Derek. With all the, I don't know if you, I hope if you've read your email, check out the new Michigan DNR regulations. So if you want to sell fish in the state of Michigan now, even if you're a hobbyist, you have to go register and get like a number. Kind of an interesting thing, which I think some of that, and I'll add in some other pieces to that too, but maybe part of a live stream for next week. I tried to do a little research on it today when I saw it, but it was didn't find much. Like I was trying to find like where they passed this. Was there any discussion? Was there anything else? And in my very brief look, I kind of didn't come up with much. So kind of was like out of the blue. Like all the stuff you find in Hawaii and everything, you really you hear a lot about that on Facebook and everything. This was just kind of quiet. We get an email, or I got an email from the aquarium club. It's like, yep, you got to go get a permit if you're selling non-native fish in the state of Michigan. So it doesn't look like anything serious. Like they're gonna come inspect the fish barn because I'm selling at auctions. Like like the 7 bags of fish I sold last time. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, but we'll see what happens Thursday. That could be entertaining. I think with that being said, we've been going now for over an hour, so I think we're gonna go ahead and yeah, the DNR hit us out of nowhere. Yeah, it was out of nowhere. Yeah, we could talk Thursday. I'm kind of curious where it all came from. That could get interesting. Because you know who it's going to nail, though? It's going to nail the coral people. Because they don't keep up with that stuff as much as the freshwater hobby does, because they don't have anything that's invasive, really, to Michigan. Because A, there's no salt water, and B, you're not going to release a line. If you release a lionfish in the lake here, it's going to last about 2 minutes. So there's really no real issues or anything. But I know the DNR has shown up at like the Macnas, I think in Florida. I think they've shown up at least once. So it's going to be interesting at the auction, the next auction. So I bet you they will. Actually, they might show up. So I'm gonna do that this week. HC Aqua's here. Welcome. So yeah, that'll be a very interesting dynamic for sure. Because I've kind of noticed with the Michigan freshwater scene a little bit. There's a little bit of emotion that goes on. We'll call it. and I can see, say, going to an auction and somebody didn't register with the state and not being allowed to sell, and them not being too thrilled. And they'll just leave it at that. It can get interesting. I can see, yeah, there's definitely a little bit of passion around here. So it's be a little bit fun. So it's a lot of fun, guys. Sorry, HC was a little bit late here, but I will pop the link in one more time for you guys to the story, because it is a good story for sure. So that's the story. So if you guys didn't get to hear the beginning of the stream, you can check it out on the replay. If you haven't subscribed here, please do. If you like what you see, if you like the videos. So definitely a lot of fun. Try to bring you some more stuff. I do want to get some more guests on here. That was a lot of fun. So really do want to definitely get some more folks on here for sure. I am working on something else with, I'm not going to spoil it yet, with someone else as well. He won't, where he's at, he doesn't have very good internet, so we're going to have to like piece it together and it'll be a video. But I think it'll be some good stuff. So, with that being said, thank you guys for coming out. Keep on doing your thing. Stay positive and keep breeding your fish. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.